Just turn it on the side if it's not.
Oh, do we need to put a thing in there?
Yeah, that's it. Sorry. You're right.
When you're 74, the technology's not real flash, so.
Mate, folks here would know that I'm no better. Okay. How's that working, Vince? Good.
Okay, well, to start off with, I'm only 74. I can still get around all right. I'd never heard of Vege-vangelism until a couple of weeks ago, but I've been doing it for a few years. And this Herald of Hope magazine, I'd never heard of that until about 6 years ago either. So I think I'll give you a bit of a background first. I don't like things that are green. I'm talking about political parties here.
Nick, I'm going to give you a microphone, mate.
I need it? Yep.
I think they're calling out up the back.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm just making it easy so they're not looking at you going, what's he talking?
Yeah, right then.
Pin that on you. If you're not used to stand up front, it's not much fun getting wired up. You're all good, mate.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
That better?
It's not your job, that's the background.
Righto, well, I'll start again. I was going to talk about my green thumb, but I don't like green things like green political parties. But we'll go back 100 years from where we are today, and I had a grandfather who lived at North Rocks in Sydney. He started off at Blacktown, and he had his own garden, and there was a vacant block of land next to him, and he planted gardens on that as well, and he fed his family right through the Depression, through the 30s. And not only that, he came out of the Depression owning the block of land that he share farmed on. And I didn't know my grandfather that well because I wasn't thought of till later. I knew him when I was about 4 or 5 or 6, and then I joined the army and we lost contact a bit. But he had a green thumb. And does anyone know what a Christmas bush is? It's got a red flower. When he retired, he used to go to all the greater colleges in like King's College, and he'd get all the empty tomato sauce tins and jam tins, and he'd take them home and clean them out, break up some sandstone, put it in the bottom for drainage, and he grew Christmas bushes. And then he used to take the seat out of the old Austin A40 and take these trees in different stages of growth all over the new suburbs of Sydney. And he did this for years and years and years, and he was selling Christmas bushes for 1 and 6pence, or 2 and 6, depending on the size. And if you fly into Sydney now, around Christmas time, all that North Shore area looks pink. My grandfather did that with his green thumb. And so I guess I inherited the green thumb, but it sat dormant for about 50 years because I had other priorities. But when I retired at the age of 55, I started gardening, but I wasn't a born-again Christian then. I didn't know anything about God. I didn't want to know anything about God because I went to a Catholic school and I had preconceived ideas about what was happening. I knew that the brothers were on the wrong side of the track. Anyway, I started gardening when I was 55. I'm not real good on the veggies, but I'm great on the fruits. My favourite thing that I grow, have you got a photo of this? Anyone know what that is? That's a dragon fruit flower, right? Now, you can't see it real clear here, but I'll tell you now, that did not evolve. That was created. That's a creation. God created that. And I'll tell you, I went out one morning and there were 240 of those flowers came out in one night. And it was like, I got goosebumps, right? And my wife said, what are you going to do with them all? Make a long story short, I give most of it away. If I ate that many dragon fruit, I'd be in a bad way. The sugar levels will be... So what I do, I eat some, my granddaughters love them, I give them away, and you can use them. I wish I lived next door to Matt. I could go over to Matt and say, here's a dozen dragon fruit, I'll swap you for some veggies, right? But the real reason I started growing stuff was because I didn't like Vince said before, this world is heading to, it's a world in crisis, right? And I knew that was coming, but I wasn't saved. So I decided that I might go, but I'm not going easy. I got a gun licence. I learned how to hunt. I learned how to butcher. I started growing things. I set up a survival camp in the mountains inland from Gympie. There's a couple of people left from out bush, aren't there? There's a lot of deer running around the mountains, but they're really hard to catch when you're in your 70s. But a 308 will catch them pretty good. Right, so that's the sort of mentality I had. It was going to be me. I'm not going to go easy. I'm going to survive. It's the old good get out of Dodge mentality. But something different happened and it changed my view. I've got a better plan now, a better survival plan. You know what that plan is? The rapture. Right? So my gardening, these dragon fruit, they're unbelievable. You cut them, put them in the fridge, cut them in half, and you got breakfast for two. My granddaughters love them. Neighbours would fight over them. And you can grow them along your fence.
What colour do you grow? What colour?
I used to have white and yellow. They're gone. Red only.
Yeah. Amen.
Right? You cut them open, it's like looking at a human heart that's been cut open. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but these things, they're good for you. Anything that's red, like blueberries or strawberries, beetroot, they're all good for you. So I grow those. Neighbours would even fight. They got more than me. Another thing I really love is bananas. I think we might have a photo of some bananas. Oh, that's a passion fruit vine. And you notice how it's all up in the air? They're aerial passion fruit. I'm growing them along a rope because it gives you privacy from the back neighbours, and you can just walk underneath and pick them. It's easy for my wife because I don't know, we probably pick 15 or 20 a week. They're good on ice cream. They're good on a fruit salad. I give away you can only eat so many passion fruit. I give a lot away. And the next thing I really love, I think, have we got bananas now? That's my best bunch so far. There were 300 bananas on that bunch. Now, it's all right for young blokes like Matt, right? Young and fit, just grab the bunch. But when you're 70, 73, 74, it's a pretty heavy bunch. I think it weighed about 65 or 70 kilos. And I had to get my son to come and give me a hand to get the bunch down. But they will all ripen in about 3 weeks. Anyone here eat 300 bananas in 3 weeks? Right? Pretty hard to do. But I've got 30 banana trees now, and I'm hoping that I can pull a bunch. I've got 3 bunches on right now. I'm hoping I'm going to be able to stagger them so I can get a bunch a month. Because if you've got to go a week without bananas, you can cop it, but you can freeze them, and you can...
Drying them?
Yeah, you can dehydrate them and dry them. Those ones there are a sugar banana. I like bananas that... I've got one bunch that grew on it was like 15 feet from the ground. Now, that's a fair way to get up a ladder and carry a bunch down. But you can, if you play it smart with a machete, you can cut the banana tree and let it lever itself down and land it in the wheelbarrow. Right? But if it lands on you, it just means you're not going to get raptured out. You'll be gone before then. 70 kilos wouldn't kill you, right? But those bananas, they're insane for breakfast. You don't have to cook them. I've got a neighbour that grows avocado. Now, she was a little bit, I think she works in the police station, and she had a bit of that attitude when I first moved in. There's nothing like some bananas to break someone's attitude down. And now she brings over avocados and gives them to me. Yeah. But see, as you can grow these things all along your fence, you can have the banana trees here and behind it, your dragon fruit, and your dragon fruit become a security fence that will feed you for the rest of your life. Because it's a cactus, you don't have to water it very much, minimal, because a cactus, you know, they're a desert plant, and every year your crop gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Now, I've got a wife that sort of, you're lucky, Matt, your wife loves the garden. My wife thinks I've got too many. So when she goes away, she went away on a trip with her girlfriends to Tasmania. When she came back, someone had installed another fence panel in the front yard with dragon fruit growing up it. You can't have, I mean, like you said, it's not just feeding yourself, it's your neighbours, but you can use these veggies and these fruits as an ad pack. People walk past and they go, "What's that flower?" It's a dragon fruit plant. Have you ever tasted it? No. Tell you what I'll do, we'll give you one. The next time they walk past, they're sort of looking to see if you're around so they can get another one. The next time they walk past, they get a bonus, they get a Bible tract as well. And I don't know how many Bible tracts I've got from Vince, but it's unbelievable. If there's someone you can pick up the phone and say, "Can I get some Bible tracts?" and they're free. And there's other ways. It doesn't have to be fruit or veggies, right, that you use for vege-evangelism. Let's just say there might be someone here who's old and hasn't got a garden. You can do it with coffee, or you can do it with food. I got a guy that witnessed to me a few years ago, and he loves cooking, and he likes big noting himself too about how good his cooking is. But he gives food to people all the time, and yes, that got to me once. Maybe at this stage now, I better just go back and I'll give you a bit of my testimony. You let me know if I go over time. Press the buzzer, right? I come from a background, I was brought up in a Catholic school in the western suburbs of Sydney. My father was from a Catholic family of 7 kids. It was a Catholic family, but he wasn't what you'd call a good Catholic. He was a bad Catholic. And this poor Baptist girl, my mother, met this debonair Catholic boy. He looked good on the outside, but the Bible teaches about separation, doesn't it? Well, my poor mother, this innocent Baptist girl, married this Catholic boy, and towards the end of her life, she'd be picking on me. This is before I got saved. She'd be picking on me for drinking too much, and I'd say, "Mum, back off. Otherwise, when you die, I'll bury you with Dad. Don't put me in with him." She was petrified of him. She had a hell life until he died. Anyway, I'm an unsaved bloke. I had a fight with the principal at the Catholic school. He was an Irish weightlifting champion. He was only about 5'6", but he was about the same across the shoulders. Bad man to tangle with, and I did it nearly every day. So he used to cane me. Some days I couldn't carry my bag home. I mean, I wasn't the perfect student by any means. So then we didn't get on, so he wouldn't leave, so I did. I got fired from school. Wasn't long after I got fired from home. I had a fight with my father because of the way he used to treat Mum and us. So I ended up no roof over my head and living with a relative. But I found out that if you go in the army, they feed you and they pay you. So I did that 6 years, went overseas, came back from overseas. I met a Catholic school teacher in Brisbane. I thought, wow, I'm moving up in the world. A Darrow from the western suburbs of Sydney, meeting this Catholic girl who's a school teacher. So I married her. She put up with me being unsaved for 40 years. She went to church. I didn't want to go to church because I knew about church. I went to a Patrician Brothers school. Now, sometimes if you won't listen to God, he'll find a way to get your attention. I had a pest control business. I went in and did a job for an American bloke. I don't know what he said to me because it was 44 years ago, but he tried to con me into going to church. I don't know what he said, I can't remember. I said, mate, I'm not interested. I don't want to know about it. Got the money and left. I gave him a bit of a discount and left. 40 years later, I got saved. And I got baptised at a scout hall at Tewantin. They had a service there and they said, we're going to take you down the river and baptise you. This is a couple of weeks after I got saved. They introduced me to this old bloke. Well, he's older than me. And they said, this is Mike Marsh. I said, did you used to live at Kippering? He said, yep. I said, I sprayed your house 40 years ago. I'd never seen him in that gap from when he witnessed to me until the day I got baptised. 40 years. And the bloke that actually got me in front of to sit down and listen was a guy who cooked all that food. He was like a bull terrier. Vince spoke about how our country's the world's in a bad way. Well, it's in a bad way, and I knew. I used to park a big trailer on the highway. It was a 24-foot trailer, $100,000 worth, hydraulic ramp. I used to sit there in a lounge chair and I had a big sign up and it said, stop the Islamisation of Australia. And I used to get some unbelievable visitors because I parked it on the Gympie Road, near Beams Road, 150,000 cars a day. I had a lot of trouble with Muslims, trade unionists, coppers, council. Everyone used to visit me. But see, I wasn't saved then, so I used to butt heads with them all the time. And then this little bulldog bloke called in and he tried to witness to me. And he painted a sign for the back of this big trailer, One Nation sign. I thought, gee, he's doing it free. And then I told him to nick off when he started talking about God. Because I knew about God. I went to a Catholic school. He came back again. And I told him to nick off again. I wasn't very nice to him. But he did the sign free, so it wasn't too bad. But the third time he came back, things had changed in my life. God found a way to get my attention. The hard way. Real hard way. And it cost me a lot of money. Cost me a marriage for a year. But if you grow dragon fruit and bananas, you're pretty sure sign that one day she'll come back. And the TPI pension helps too. So my wife and I split up for a year. And now we're together and we probably get on better now than we ever did. 51 years. And she's a Catholic. And I'll tell you one thing, there'll be no Catholics in heaven if my wife's not there. Because I've brainwashed her. We lay in bed and I listen to, I don't know how many sermons I've listened to. In 6 years I've been saved. hundreds and hundreds, because there were some things that I didn't really... The first thing that I doubted was this eternal salvation. Who'd believe that? Sin for 67 years, and I'll tell you now, there wouldn't be a sinner in this room that came anywhere close to me for 67 years, and then I become a born-again Christian and the slate's just wiped clean. Who'd believe that? So, I got this. King James Version, 1611, and I spent thousands of hours chasing. The first thing I want to know is that salvation, eternal salvation. And then I got a track, I think it might have been a bloke from down your way, The Digger and the Drunkard, the story of Mr. Eternity. What a story, right? I put that to bed, right? Eternal salvation, you can't lose it. I thought, I wanted to know. I consulted Spurgeon, Harry Ironside, Bible commentaries, hundreds of sermons online, and I used to listen to them in bed so my wife couldn't get away. And so here's this poor Catholic girl listening to Bible Baptist preaching hour after hour after hour. So she's saved and she knows, but she still goes to the Catholic Church because she's been in it for all her life, since she was little girl size. And she hands out the communion. And she knows, but I just can't sever that Catholic chain from round her neck. I don't know what it is, but she's pretty tough, otherwise she wouldn't still be with me, eh? And so the story is this. The rapture, who'd believe that? Like that talk he did on the rapture, awesome. I didn't, in the twinkling of an eye, I mean, hello, who's going to believe that? So I studied that for hundreds and hundreds of hours, and I used to go to Bible studies, 2 different ones a week, and blokes would say, oh, you're coming next Wednesday night? One of mine he went to because they're Indian people and beautiful food, and they'd say, you're coming next Wednesday night? I said, how would I know? They didn't believe in the pre-tribulation rapture. So I used to tease them. They'd say, you coming next week? I said, I wouldn't know. They'd say, what do you mean? I said, well, I could be raptured out. I know you'll still be here, of course. And so those 2 things, once you put them to bed, I don't care what happens now. Eternal salvation, that's awesome. I'm going to grow veggies and fruit until the rapture. If I get raptured out and someone else gets the bananas, I don't care. All my Bible books, commentaries, someone will probably get them and trash them. My greatest regret in life, I didn't teach my kids about God because I didn't know. I didn't want to know. My son, who mentioned golf before? Right? My son, I say, I've tried to tell him, I've tried to witness to him, he doesn't want to know. He thought I'd get over this sickness. He said to me after I got saved, he said, you're not swearing. I said, I told you, mate, I'm up, I'm finished with that. He said, you're not drinking. I said, that's right. He said, what if someone smacks you in the mouth? I said, oh, I'd have to think about that one. I said, I might give him one shot. You know what he says to me now? Don't pray for me to get saved. I don't want to get raptured out. I said, why? He said, what if there's no beer or golf in heaven? This is true. He's dead serious, right? And my daughter, my 2 kids, they're my best friends. Right? My daughter, she's 50 and Sean's 49. I love them to death. But my greatest regret, I didn't tell them about God. My daughter says I'm not a sinner. She honestly believes she doesn't sin. You know why? Because she's comparing herself to her father.
Yeah.
Huh? Pretty bad, eh? So, but I know they're going to get saved because the Bible, this book, tells me they're going to get saved because I've prayed for them. It says in there, I think it's Matthew 7:7, ask whatever you wish, it will be granted. So you're a born-again Christian, you're saved. If you pray and you do it the right way, Lord Jesus, by the power of the Holy Spirit, please take my prayer to God the Father. And you're coming off if I'm a sinner today and then trying to pray 10 minutes later, hello, I mightn't get through. But God sees and hears everything, and I know that my kids will get saved. But the trouble is, I'm impatient. I want it now. And, well, look, 67 years of sin, God was pretty patient with me. I could have died many times in Vietnam. I was a tunnel rat doing tunnel searches. I could have been killed in hunting accidents. I rode a car off blind drunk one night when I was about 26. Snakes, I killed about 18 brown snakes in a hut we had up in the mountains. Many times I could have been dead and gone. Why did God hang on to a dirty old sinner like me? Must be a reason, because he uses sinners to save sinners. And he puts you in touch with the people that can help you, like Vince Wall, the Herald of Hope, the church I go to. And so these are just the means that we can use. If you can't grow a garden, buy someone a coffee. I like taking old people to the hospital. Guess what you see there? Sick old people. Always have some Bible tracts in your pocket everywhere you go. How you going, mate? Oh, no good, mate. Wife's got cancer and I've got a heart problem. Oh, you could be leaving soon. Which way are you going? Up or down? You know, you can, if you got the different I'm a little bit rough around the edges, right? When I first started witnessing to people, I just used to say to them, there's only two places, heaven or hell. And that's right. There's 1,850 verses in the New Testament. 200 of them talk about eternal damnation. As far as I can work out, that's hell, eh? Right, so that's the third thing I really studied was hell, because I know I was headed there, and I know I'm not going there now. And how good does that feel? I don't care what happens. All done, guys. Thanks very much.